And now to a new era for the modeling industry. Conde Nast, the publisher of Vogue, declaring it will no longer use models under the age of 18. We're going to talk to a top executive at Vogue in a moment, but first, a look inside the fashion world. The 90s marked the rise of the supermodel. Flawless faces and fierce physiques dominating the world of fashion. Since then, the ever-changing industry has become a revolving door, looking for that fresh new face. Rookie models, some as young as their mid-teens, plucked from obscurity to fill the increasing demand for those able to fit into super small sizes. These young adults forced to grow up quickly as they face the harsh realities of modeling, from highly sexualized fashion shoots to inappropriate conduct and outright sexual assault. These all too common scenarios begging the question, how young is too young?
I was constantly, on a daily basis, sexually harassed, followed. I would go to castings where people would ask me to take my clothes off. I was often made to feel very uncomfortable.
Supermodel Karen Elson began her career at age 15, eventually becoming a favorite for some of fashion's top photographers.
It's an ugly side of a very beautiful business.
Elson is now 39 and a mother of two, and says the industry standard of having young teens model a women's sample size 0 adds to unrealistic expectations women place on themselves when it comes to body image.
A 16-year-old girl walking down the runway is not a fair representation of what women in the world outside of fashion want to see.
Elson's experience mentioned in the upcoming issue of Vogue, as the magazine takes an in-depth look at the industry's often negative effects on young models.
These are the things you don't see when you're looking at these beautiful girls. If you don't see the underbelly of models being worked till they burn out, not paid on time, not paid at all, made to feel like their bodies aren't beautiful, then getting eating disorders because of it.
The article coming after Conde Nast, Vogue's publisher, announced earlier this year it would no longer use models under the age of 18. The company hoping this fashion-forward move will set a new trend for the entire industry. And we're joined now by Helena Suric, bookings director at Vogue magazine. Helena, good morning.
Hi, Helena.
Thank you for being here.
Good morning, thank you.
So let's just focus on the problem. I mean, I think a lot of people might be surprised that the models they were seeing are, in many cases, so very young, because they don't look it. They're all dressed up and dolled up. They don't look like 14-year-old girls.
Right, absolutely, and that's part of the problem. It's not only that they're working at this incredibly young age, it's that we're presenting very young women as adults. And that really is one of the chief issues.
And why get the young women? What was the point of getting like 14 or 15 or 16-year-old girls to model?
So part of that is the systemic problem. The modeling industry is quite large. There are a lot of fashion shows. Yeah. And in order to fulfill all the looks for these fashion shows, increasingly younger models were scouted. And it's kind of a wheel. They come in, they do a few fashion show seasons, they move on, and the next group comes in.
I know in a way it was like they're kind of interchangeable. It's a far step away from the supermodel era when there were women who designers would dress for them. And now it seems like the opposite is true.
Right, absolutely. We shifted away from supermodels to these kind of disposable faces, and it's really it's not good for anyone in the industry. It's not good for these kids who are cycling in and out, and it's not good for fashion. It's not good for the image that we're putting out there.
I was going to say, I don't think it's good for women who look at these magazines, because the body of a 14-year-old is not the body of a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, 47-year-old. I mean, it kind of adds to that unrealistic expectation.
Right, absolutely. The healthy appearance of models is something that we've been concerned with for a long time, and especially their body size. And age is very closely correlated to that. A girl who's 14 or 15 or 16 is absolutely not a developed woman. And we felt that by addressing age, we could also address body size, which is very closely linked. So this is something we've taken into consideration.
Now, when Vogue does something, because you guys are so out in front on these things, other publications sometimes follow. Is that what we are expecting to see, a trend?
Well, what we're hoping to see is that not only other publications follow, but that designers follow, that model agencies follow, and all the people in the modeling industry. This is a very global and fragmented industry. There's no governing body that dictates models or what their age should be. So we're hoping that as leaders in the industry, others will look to us and take this and go from there.
And even just bigger than even like a regular, some women who were of age of 20 or 30 or whatever still don't have the bodies that most of us have. Sometimes we look up there and we say, I wish someone looked like me.
Right, absolutely. I mean, inclusivity in the industry is something that's also been changing quite a bit.
Yeah.
So not only are we generally addressing the age and health of models, but body size diversity is something that's been a big conversation. I think it's something where there have been great strides made recently.
All right. Helena, thank you. Thanks for talking with us today.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.